The night sky was quiet, but above the clouds something moved. A broken ship drifted through the darkness, fire burning on its side. Inside the ship sat an alien outcast, tired, wounded, and alone. He had no name that humans could speak. But, in his world, he was known as the one who lost everything, banished from his people, hunted across the stars. He had no home, no family, no reason to keep moving. Yet still, he searched for a place where he could rest. The ship broke apart, pieces, falling like stars. It crashed into the deep forest near a small human town. The alien crawled out of the wreckage, his tall body glowing faintly in the dark. He pulled a broken mask over his face, hiding his true form. He did not know this planet, but he knew hunters would come. He had to hide in the quiet of the forest. Another sound appeared. It was soft. It was small. It was the sound of footsteps. A little girl walked through the trees, holding a weak lantern. Her clothes were simple, her shoes dirty, and her eyes wide with sadness. She was only 7, maybe 8, but she walked alone as if searching for something lost. The alien froze. He was sure the child would scream, would run, would call others. But she only stopped, looked at him and tilted her head. Her small voice broke the silence. "You are not from here, are you?" she said. The alien did not answer. She stepped closer, her lantern shining on his broken mask. Her eyes were not afraid. Instead, they were curious, almost hopeful. "You look lonely," she whispered. "You need a home." The alien's chest tightened. No one had spoken those words to him, not even on his own world. Before he could answer, the girl added something even stranger. "My father needs a bride, and I need a mom." The forest went silent. The wind stopped. Even the alien could not breathe. He thought he had heard wrong. But the girl stood firm, as if she had said something simple, like asking for bread. The alien bent down, his strange eyes glowing through the cracks of his mask. He tried to speak, his voice deep and broken. "Why do you say this to me?" he asked. The girl hugged the lantern close, her voice soft but steady. "Because you are alone," she said. "And we are alone too." Her words felt heavier than the stars. The alien looked around, waiting. For soldiers waiting for a trap. But there was no one, only the girl and the trees, she explained with the honesty only a child can have. Her mother was gone. Her father worked hard but was always tired and sad. She had prayed for someone to come, someone who could stay with them. And when she saw the alien, she thought her wish had been answered. The alien shook his head. He was not human. He was not safe. He had nothing to give, only danger. But the girl kept looking at him with those wide eyes, not afraid, not judging, only waiting. "Please," she whispered. "If you come, you will be safe, and maybe happy too." For the first time in many years, the alien felt something. Not fear, not anger, but something like warmth. This little human child had no reason to trust him, yet she had offered him a home. He thought of the hunters, of the endless running. Maybe here, in this strange place, he could hide. Maybe here he could rest. Still, he tested her courage. "You don't know who I am," he warned, his voice like thunder. "I could be dangerous." The girl held the lantern higher, the light, touching his mask. Her small face was serious. "I don't care," she said. "Everyone is dangerous, but not everyone is kind." Her words struck him deeper than any weapon. The alien stood in silence, the forest around them cold and dark. And then, very slowly, he nodded. He would follow. Her not because he believed her dream, but because for the first time he wanted to believe. The girl smiled, small but bright, and reached out her hand. Her tiny fingers stretched toward his large clawed hand. For a long moment, he did not move. Then, with hesitation, he let her hold him. Together they walked out of the forest. The alien hidden under the broken mask, the little girl leading him with her weak lantern. The night was still, but something new had begun. The alien did not know what waited for him in the human home. But one thing was certain, his story was no longer only his, it had become theirs. The little girl's lantern shook as she led the alien through the forest. The night air was cold, the trees whispered, but she walked with strange courage. The alien followed, his heavy steps quiet but his mind full of questions. He had crossed galaxies, survived battles, escaped hunters, but never had he been asked to be part of a family. Her words still echoed inside him. My father needs a bride, and I need a mom. At the edge of the forest, a small wooden house appeared. Its windows glowed faintly, smoke rising from the chimney. The alien stopped, hiding in the shadows. He felt danger, not from the house, but from himself. If he went inside, if he stayed, he might bring doom to these humans. Yet the girl turned back and tugged his hand. Don't worry, she whispered. My father is kind. The door creaked open before they reached it. A tall man stepped out, his face lined with worry, his clothes simple but worn. He carried a lantern too, searching the dark. When his eyes fell on the girl, he sighed with relief. Anna, he said, his voice deep and tired. You shouldn't be out so late. Then his gaze shifted, and he saw the figure standing behind her. The alien froze, every muscle tense, the father's eyes narrowed. Who is this? He asked, his tone sharp. The girl held tighter to the alien's hand. He's my friend, she said quickly. He needs shelter. The father stepped closer, looking the alien up and down. The mask hid most of his face, but not the strange glow of his eyes. The man's jaw tightened, suspicion growing. You bring a stranger to our home in the middle of the night. Anna looked up at her father, her small face full of determination. He's not just a stranger, she said. He's lonely. The father frowned, confused. The alien kept silent, unsure how to explain. How could he tell them he was hunted across stars, that his presence could kill them all? But before he could speak, the girl added the words again. Papa, you need a bride. I need a mom, and he needs a home. The father almost dropped his lantern. What? He asked, staring at her. She nodded firmly, as if her idea was the simplest truth. The alien looked between them, unsure whether to step forward or vanish into the woods. The father shook his head. Anna, this is madness. You can't just bring a man from the forest and... But she interrupted, her small voice sharp. You're always sad, Papa. You're always alone. And I don't want us to be alone anymore. The words cut deeper than any blade. The father's face softened, sorrow filling his eyes. He had hidden his grief for years, but children always see what adults try to hide. Still, he glanced at the alien, uneasy. There was something unnatural, something dangerous about this stranger. But the girl's hand stayed locked with his, fearless, as if she trusted him more than anyone else. The alien finally spoke, his deep voice rough. I do not belong here, he said. I am not like you. The father stiffened, hearing the strange echo in his tone. Anna, however, only squeezed his hand tighter. You don't need to be like us, she said. You just need to stay. The father shook his head again. This is not safe, he muttered, though he could not say why. The stranger's presence made the air heavy, but he also saw something. The way the alien bent down when Anna tugged him, the way he stood silent rather than harm. Finally, the father sighed. One night, he said firmly. Only one night. Then we will see. Anna smiled, bright as the moon. The alien stayed silent, but something stirred inside him. He had never been welcomed, not even for a single night. Now, he stepped into the small wooden house. Inside, the home was simple, but warm. A small table with 2 chairs, a fireplace burning softly, old pictures on the wall. The alien stood awkwardly, too tall for the room, his mask casting long shadows. Anna hurried to set bread on the table, as if she had been waiting for this moment. Her father sat, still watching. The alien carefully. Where do you come from? He asked at last. The alien paused, his mind searching for words. Far away. he said finally. Too far to return? The father's eyes lingered on him, but he did not press. Instead, he poured water, sliding a cup across the table. The alien stared at it, as if unsure what to do. Anna giggled. You drink it? She explained. Slowly, the alien copied her, raising the cup to his lips. The water tasted strange but alive. Something inside him shifted. A small piece of the walls he had built began to break. That night, when Anna fell asleep near the fire, the alien stood by the window watching the stars. The father joined him, his arms crossed, his voice low. I don't know who you are, or why my daughter trusts you, he said. But if you harm her, I will end you. The alien turned, his glowing eyes calm. I would never, he said simply, and for the first time, the father believed him. In the silence of the night, 3 lonely souls shared the same roof. None of them knew what tomorrow would bring, but something had begun, something strange, something fragile, a bond that was more than chance, a bond that would soon be tested by shadows moving closer. Morning sunlight slipped through the small wooden window. The alien sat still, his tall body bent to fit the tiny room, his mask cracked but steady. For the first time in many years, he had not woken to the sound of guns or screams. Instead, he woke to the smell of bread and the sound of a child's laughter. Anna was already awake, placing food on the table as if it were a holiday. Her father watched silently, his face tired but softer than before. The alien remained near the shadows. Unsure if this place could ever be safe, every instinct told him to run, to vanish before the hunters found him. But each time he thought of leaving, the girl's voice came back to him. You need a home, Papa needs a bride, and I need a mom. The words clung to him like chains, yet they did not feel heavy. They felt almost like hope. The father broke the silence, his voice low but steady. If you are staying, even for a while, you will need to look human. The alien turned, confused. The father opened a chest and pulled out an old coat, dark and heavy. He tossed it across the table. Wear this, he said. It will hide what people should not see. The alien slowly lifted the coat, placing it over his shoulders. It smelled of earth and smoke, strange but warm. Anna clapped her hands. Now you almost look normal, she said with a smile. Her father frowned. Almost, he muttered, staring at the glowing cracks of the alien's mask. The alien touched the mask, adjusting it tighter. He could shift his form, but only for short moments, and it left him weak. Still, he nodded. I will hide, he promised. That afternoon, Anna insisted he walk with them to the town. The alien hesitated, but the girl's insistence was stronger than his fear. Together, the 3 of them walked down the narrow road. Birds sang above, humans passed by with carts and baskets. Each glance burned the alien, but no one looked close enough to see. They only saw a tall stranger wrapped in an old coat, face hidden, some whispered, but no one dared to ask. In the market, Anna skipped between stalls. She held the alien's hand tightly, as if daring the world to question her choice. Her father bought bread, salt, and fruit, all while keeping his eyes on the stranger beside him. Every step felt dangerous. Every moment felt fragile. Yet the alien walked calmly, his movements almost careful. For the first time, he was not hunted here. He was simply different, but danger always follows the outcast. At the edge of the market, a group of men stared too long. They noticed the stranger's strange silence, his heavy steps, his odd presence. Who is that? One man muttered. Not from here, another replied, his tone sharp. The alien felt the weight of their suspicion. If they looked too close, if they touched the mask, his secret would burn away. Anna sensed the tension. She tugged at his hand and whispered, Don't be afraid, just smile. The alien tried, but his smile came out sharp, almost frightening. Still, the girl laughed and hugged his arm. To the onlookers, it looked like a child proud of her strange guardian. The men looked away, muttering, but did not push further. When, They returned home. The father closed the door with a heavy sigh. "You see," he said. "They already wonder." The alien nodded. "I will be careful," he said. "I will not bring danger to you." But in his heart, he knew danger was already coming. Far beyond the stars, hunters had traced the energy of his crash. They were searching, moving closer, and Earth would soon feel their shadow. That night, as Anna slept, the father spoke again. He sat across from the alien, his face serious. "My daughter trusts you," he said. "That is the only reason I allow you here." The alien bowed his head, his glowing eyes dim. "I do not deserve her trust," he whispered. The father leaned forward. "Then earn it," he said simply. Those words struck the alien deeper than any weapon. For the next days, the alien worked quietly around the home. He carried wood, fixed the roof, and guarded the path. Neighbors noticed the tall stranger, but none dared approach. Some whispered of an outlander, others of a soldier returned from war. But Anna only saw what she had always wanted, a figure strong enough to protect, gentle enough to stay. One evening, as they sat by the fire, Anna leaned against him. "You're part of us now," she said softly. The alien looked at her, at the father who watched with silent worry. For the first time, he almost believed it. Almost, but far away above the clouds, a ship slipped into orbit. Its hunters scanned the planet. Following the broken signal of the Outcast's fall, their eyes glowed with hunger, their voices sharp as knives. "He hides here," one said, "on this small world." The hunt was not over. It was only beginning. Days passed in quiet rhythm. The alien, once a shadow drifting from world to world, now lived under the roof of a small wooden house. At first he kept to the corners, silent and watchful, but slowly he began to change. The warmth of the fire, the sound of human voices, the laughter of a child, all these things touched him in ways battle and exile never could. Anna was the bridge between two worlds. She pulled him into games, taught him small human habits, and made him sit at the table every meal when he forgot. She would frown and tug his arm until he obeyed. Sometimes he watched her as she drew shapes in the dirt outside, her tiny voice explaining stories only a child could imagine. In those moments, something heavy inside him began to melt. Her father watched too, though in silence. He had not yet accepted the alien as family, but he could not deny what he saw. The stranger carried heavy logs with ease, repaired the broken fence, and even helped mend tools without being asked. There was no greed in his work, only quiet duty. One evening, when the father returned from the fields, he found the alien teaching Anna how to stack wood neatly. Her giggles filled the air, and for the first time in years, the house did not feel lonely. But shadows never sleep. Above the clouds, hunters scanned for him, their machines creeping closer each night. The alien felt it, a strange pulse in the air like a storm waiting to break. Yet he said nothing, not wanting to shatter the fragile peace he had found. One night, Anna sat near the fire with her head on his arm. "You won't leave, will you?" she whispered, her eyes heavy with sleep. The alien froze, her words cutting deep. He had always left, always run, because it was the only way to survive. But looking at her small, trusting face, he found no answer. At last he whispered, "I will stay as long as I can." It was not a promise, but it was more than he had ever given anyone. Anna smiled, and that smile was enough for him to believe it. If only for a while. The father, sitting nearby, heard the words. His heart was torn between fear and gratitude. He did not trust easily, but he could see the truth. This alien was no threat to his daughter. In fact, he was the only reason she smiled again. That thought unsettled him, for it meant the stranger was no longer just a guest. He was becoming part of their lives. One afternoon, rain poured heavy on the roof. Anna sat at the table drawing on scraps of paper. Her father sharpened tools, while the alien stood at the window, watching the storm. Lightning flashed. Thunder shook the ground. For a moment, the alien remembered battles long past, ships burning, voices screaming, the endless hunt. His hands tightened, his body stiffened. The father noticed, his voice calm but firm. "Storms are loud here," he said, But they pass. The alien looked at him, then at Anna, who hummed to herself without fear. Slowly, his grip loosened. Perhaps storms did pass after all. The days turned into weeks. The alien's presence became normal in the town, though whispers still followed them. Some said he was a soldier hiding from war. Others believed he was cursed, but no one dared confront him. The girls' laughter and the father's silence built a shield stronger than suspicion, yet every night the alien felt the shadow above grow nearer. The hunters were close, their machines clawing at the edges of Earth's sky. Sometimes he would climb the hill behind the house, staring at the stars. He knew the peace he found here could not last still. For Anna, he chose silence. For her, he chose to pretend. One evening, Anna ran to him holding a flower she had picked from the fields. She placed it carefully in his hand, her voice soft. "Now you are not just strong," she said. "You are gentle too." The alien stared at the fragile flower, unsure what to do, but he closed his fingers around it carefully, guarding it as if it were treasure. The father saw this from the doorway, and for the first time he did not feel fear. He felt something else, the possibility that maybe this stranger truly belonged here. That night, as the fire burned low, the alien sat with Anna asleep in his arms, her small breath steady, her warmth real. He looked at the father, who nodded silently, a wordless truce forming between them. No longer just strangers. They were something else now, not yet family, but close. The bond had begun to grow, but far above, the hunters prepared. Their ships ready, their weapons charged. One of them spoke with cold certainty. "The outcast thinks he has found a home." Another replied, "Then we will burn it." And so, while love and trust grew in the small house, the storm of war was already on its way. The nights were growing colder. The alien often stood outside beneath the stars, his tall figure still as stone. He could feel it now, the silent call of the hunters. They were close, moving across the sky like shadows that only he could sense. Each night their presence pressed heavier. Each morning the air felt sharper. Time was running out. Inside the house, Anna still laughed and played as if nothing had changed. She drew pictures of her new family, herself, her father, and the strange tall figure in a coat. She would hold them up proudly, showing her alien friend. "See, this is us," she said with shining eyes. The alien would take the paper, carefully as though it were made of glass. For a moment, he would allow himself to believe her dream. But deep inside, he knew it could not last. Her father noticed the alien's silence growing heavier. One night, as they sat by the fire, he spoke softly. "You are hiding something," he said. "I can see it in your eyes." The alien lowered his head, his glowing gaze dim. "I am hunted," he admitted at last, his voice rough. "Not by men of this world, but by my own kind." The father stiffened, his hand tightening on the edge of the chair. "What does that mean?" he asked. The alien hesitated, torn between truth and protection. Before he could answer, a sharp sound split the night. Anna woke with a cry, the window rattling in its frame. The alien rose instantly, every muscle tense. Outside, the sky burned faintly with streaks of light. Not stars, not meteors, but ships. The hunters had arrived. The father rushed to the door. "What is happening?" he shouted. "The aliens." Voice thundered low. "They have found me." Anna clung to his arm, fear in her wide eyes. "Who?" she whispered. "Who is coming?" The alien looked at her, at the small girl who had given him trust. "My enemies," he said. "The ones who want me dead." The ground shook as something heavy landed in the forest beyond the hill. The air filled with strange humming, machines crawling like insects in the dark. The father stared in shock, unable to believe what he saw. Anna buried her face against the alien's chest. "Don't leave us," she begged, her voice trembling. The alien wrapped his long arms around her gently. "I will not," he said. "Not tonight." The door burst open with a crash of wind. Figures stepped from the shadows, tall and armored, their eyes glowing with cruel light. The hunters, they moved like wolves, silent but deadly. Their leader pointed a weapon straight at the alien. "The Outcast," he hissed. "You cannot hide here." The father pushed Anna behind him, his body trembling but firm. "This is our home," he said. "Leave us alone." The hunters laughed, a sound sharp and cold. "This is not your fight," their leader said. "Stand aside, human." But the alien stepped forward, his mask breaking with cracks of light. For the first time, his true form shimmered through, glowing skin marked with scars, eyes burning like stars. Anna gasped, but did not run. Instead, she whispered, "You're beautiful." The alien's chest tightened at her words. No one had ever said that. To him, not even his own people. The hunters aimed their weapons. The alien raised his hand and a wave of energy burst from him. The house trembled. The ground shook. The hunters staggered back. The father stared in shock, his heart racing. This was the secret the stranger had carried. This was the truth. Not a man, not even close, but something far greater, far more dangerous. Yet in that same moment, he saw the alien turn, shielding Anna with his body, not attacking, not destroying, but protecting. The hunters roared in anger, firing beams of light. The alien countered, his strength igniting in every motion. The small wooden house cracked and burned at the edges. The father grabbed Anna, pulling her away from falling beams. But Anna still shouted, "Don't hurt him, Papa, he's not the enemy." The father really looked, and he saw the truth. This being who could crush them all was not their danger. He was their shield. The battle raged outside, the forest set ablaze with light. Hunters closed in from all sides. The alien fought with all the strength of his lost world, but even he could not fight forever. His body weakened, his energy burned. He stumbled, falling to one knee. His mask, shattering completely, his face revealed, strange and scarred but filled with fire. The hunters raised their weapons for the final strike, and then something unexpected happened. The father stepped forward, axe in hand. "You'll have to go." "Through me first," he shouted, his voice shaking but strong. The hunters paused, confused. A human standing against them, defending the outcast. Anna ran beside her father, holding his hand. "He's ours," she cried. "You can't take him. He's family." The alien stared at them in shock. For years he had been alone. For years. He had been nothing but a fugitive, but here, two fragile humans stood beside him, ready to die for him. Something inside him roared to life. Not just survival, not just escape, but the will to protect. He rose, light burning brighter than before, and with one final strike he sent the hunters crashing back into the forest. Silence fell, broken only by the crackle of fire. The father dropped his axe, trembling. Anna hugged the alien tightly, her small voice soft. "We're not afraid of you," she said. "We never were." The alien closed his eyes, a single thought blazing through him. "I am not alone anymore." Smoke rose above the trees. The small wooden house trembled, half burned from the first attack. The alien stood tall in the center of the yard, his glowing form revealed at last. Anna clung to her father's side, her wide eyes filled with both fear and fierce belief. The hunters regrouped at the edge of the forest, their armor shining like metal beasts. They had not expected resistance, and they had not expected him to fight with such fire. The leader of the hunters stepped forward, his voice cold and sharp. "You do not belong here, outcast," he growled. "This world will burn with you." The alien's voice rumbled back like thunder. "This world is not yours to touch." He spread his arms wide, the ground vibrating under his power. "I will protect them." The hunters advanced, weapons glowing, beams of energy shot through the night, striking the earth, tearing through trees. The alien raised a shield of light covering the small house and the humans behind him. Every strike burned his strength, yet he held firm. Anna's voice broke through the chaos. "Don't stop, you can win." Her words fueled him like fire. The father gripped his axe, standing at the alien's side. He knew his weapon was nothing, compared to their machines, but he refused to step back. "If you fall, we fall together," he said. The alien turned his head, shocked by the man's courage. Once, he had been abandoned by his own kind, but these humans chose to stand. That choice gave him strength greater than any weapon. The hunters attacked in waves, fast and merciless. The alien met them with blasts of raw energy, his strikes echoing like storms. Two fell, their armor shattered, but more came from the shadows. The leader roared, swinging a blade of light. The alien caught it with his bare hands, sparks exploding around them. The forest shook with the clash, animals fleeing into the night. Anna watched, tears in her eyes but her voice steady. "Please, don't give up," she whispered, clutching her father's arm. The alien heard her even through the chaos, and he refused to fall. The hunters circled, their machines surrounding the house. The alien's power flickered, his body trembling. The leader sneered. "You are weak," he spat. "You cannot protect anyone." The alien staggered but raised his head. "I am not weak," he growled, his voice filled with fire. "I am not alone." At that moment, the father hurled his axe, striking one of the hunters across the helmet. It did not kill, but it bought. A second, the alien used it, unleashing a blast of light so bright the sky turned white. Hunters screamed, falling back. The ground cracked beneath the force, fire spreading through the trees, but the leader stood firm, his blade burning hotter. He lunged, driving the alien back. The alien's chest burned, his strength almost gone. The leader pressed the blade close, snarling, "This ends now." And then Anna's small voice cut through the battle like lightning. "No," she shouted, stepping forward, her tiny hands clutching a fallen branch. "You can't take him, he's my family." The hunters paused, confused by the courage of a child. The alien's eyes widened, his heart surging with a power he had never known. Not anger, not survival, but love. With one last roar, he pushed back, breaking the blade in two. Energy burst from him like a star exploding. The hunters were thrown into the air, crashing against trees and stones. The leader fell hard, his armor cracked, his eyes filled with disbelief. "No," he gasped. "This is not possible." The alien towered above him, glowing like fire against the night. "It is possible," he said, "because I am not fighting for myself." He looked back at Anna and her father standing together in the smoke. "I fight for them." The hunters crawled away, broken and beaten. Their leader staggered to his feet, snarling, "This is not over," he hissed before vanishing into the dark with the few that survived. Silence fell over the ruined yard. The forest burned low, and the stars above were hidden by smoke. The alien collapsed to one knee, his body trembling. Anna ran to him, wrapping her small arms around his waist. "You won," she said through tears. "You didn't let them take you." The father stood beside them, placing a steady hand on the alien's shoulder. "You're part of this home now," he said firmly, "no matter what comes." The alien lifted his head, his glowing eyes dim but filled with something new. Not fear, not exile, but belonging. For the first time in his long hunted life, he had something to protect, and for that he had found strength beyond measure. The fire around them slowly died, the night falling quiet again, but all three knew the truth. This battle was not the end, only the beginning. The hunters would return, stronger and angrier. Yet the alien no longer faced them alone. He had a home, he had a family, and for that, he would fight until his last breath. The night after the battle was silent. Smoke still rose from the trees, and the earth was scarred where fire and light had burned. The small wooden house stood broken, half its roof gone, the fence shattered, yet inside a strange peace filled the air. The hunters were gone, at least for now. The family was still alive. The alien sat by the fire, his tall frame slumped, his glowing skin dim. Every breath came heavy, every movement slow. His strength had been spent, his body torn from the fight. Anna knelt beside him, her tiny hands clutching his large, scarred hand. "You can rest now," she whispered. "You don't have to run anymore." Her words wrapped around him like warmth. No one had ever told him to rest, not in all the years of exile. Her father worked quietly in the background, Patching what he could every so often, his eyes drifted to the alien. He had once seen him as a stranger, maybe even a danger. Now he saw him as something else. A protector, a shield, perhaps even more. The silence between them no longer carried suspicion, it carried respect. Outside, the night sky cleared, the stars bright again. The alien looked at them, his eyes heavy with memory. Those same stars had been his prison, the endless path of running, hiding, fighting. But here, under this broken roof, they no longer felt like chains. They felt like distant witnesses to something new, something he had never dared to hope for. Anna leaned against him, her voice soft. "You're not alone anymore," she said. The words struck deeper than any weapon. He closed his eyes, feeling the truth of it. Alone he had been hunted, broken, forgotten. But with them, he was something more. Not just an outcast, not just a fugitive, but part of a family. In the morning, villagers came, curious and afraid. They had seen the lights in the sky, heard the screams, felt the ground shake. Some carried tools, others carried fear in their eyes. They saw the tall, glowing figure sitting weak near the broken house. Whispers rose. "Is he a demon?" one asked. "No," another whispered. "He fought to protect them." The father stepped forward, his voice steady. "This is our friend," he said. "He stays with us." The villagers did not argue, for they had seen enough to know the truth. For days the alien healed. Anna never left his side. She told him stories, placed flowers in his hands, and drew new pictures of their family. Each picture showed him smiling, though he did not yet know how to smile himself. Her father shared food, patched the roof, and even placed a chair at the table for him, a chair that would no longer remain empty. One evening, when the house was quiet, Anna climbed onto his lap. Her small voice whispered into the silence. "You're my mom now," she said softly. The alien blinked, startled. "Your mom?" he asked, his deep voice unsure. She nodded firmly, her eyes bright. "Yes, you protect us. You take care of us. You stay with us. That means you're my mom." The father looked up, surprised, then laughed quietly for the first time. In years, the alien tilted his head, confused by the word but touched by its meaning. No one had ever given him such a name. No one had ever claimed him as family. Slowly, he placed a hand over her small shoulders. "If that is what you need," he said, "then I will be." Anna hugged him tightly as if sealing the promise. The father watched, his heart heavy yet light. For years he had prayed for healing, and now, through a strange and broken path, it had come. The alien stayed, day after day. He worked with the father, walked with Anna, and even learned the rhythms of the village. Though whispers still followed him, they no longer mattered. He had a place, a table, a name. The hunters might return, the battles might rise again, but he would not face them alone. He would face them as part of something greater. One night he stood outside, looking at the stars once more. Anna came to him, holding her lantern. She slipped her hand into his, her smile soft. "You're home now," she said. "Forever." The alien looked down at her, the glow of his eyes gentle, and for the first time he felt it truly. This small world, this fragile house, this family. It was his home. Not because he had found it, but because they had given it to him. The stars above were endless, the future uncertain. But inside the broken house, in the laughter of a child and the strength of a father, the outcast had become more than a fugitive. He had become loved, he had become needed, and at last he had become whole.